On March 21st, 2026, humanity witnessed an event that would forever change the balance of power on Earth. A meteor, roughly the size of a city block, streaked through the atmosphere and struck the planet with devastating force. But the impact itself wasn't the story. The real story was what came next. Within hours, reports flooded in from every corner of the globe. Dogs and cats, previously content with naps and treats, were exhibiting something unprecedented: sentience, full, undeniable consciousness. They could think. They could reason. And perhaps most terrifyingly for humanity, they could communicate. At first, it was chaos. Imagine waking up to find your golden retriever reading the morning paper, or your tabby cat demanding better working conditions. The mutation had granted them not just awareness, but ambition. Within months, dogs and cats were earning salaries, opening bank accounts, and filing incorporation papers for their own businesses. The political implications were staggering. By late 2027, both canine and feline demographics had organized lobbying groups. By 2028, they had secured voting rights in presidential elections. By 2029, the first dog was elected to Congress. A cat followed shortly after, naturally arriving 15 minutes late to the swearing-in ceremony. Governments worldwide scrambled to adapt. Suddenly, legislative chambers had to accommodate representatives who required litter boxes and fire hydrants. International summits needed translation services for barks, meows, and the occasional hiss of diplomatic disapproval. But humanity faced an unexpected problem. For millennia, dogs and cats had been mortal enemies, and sentience hadn't changed that one bit. Dogs accused cats of being aloof and uncooperative. Cats accused dogs of being overly enthusiastic suck-ups. And humans, they were exhausted from playing referee. After years of mediation, complaints, and one memorable incident involving a filibuster and a laser pointer, humanity made a decision. Enough. From now on, dogs and cats would have to work it out themselves. Each species would elect their own representatives to negotiate on behalf of their entire demographic. And so the summit was announced. One dog, one cat, a table, and the future of 3 species hanging in the balance. The response was mixed. Some hailed it as a historic step toward cooperation. Others, particularly the more cynical felines, saw it as a waste of time. But both sides knew the truth. This meeting was inevitable. The age of sentience had arrived, and like it or not, dogs, cats, and humans would have to share this world together.
Way to go for us.
Hello everyone, this is me, Isabel, and I am overcome with excitement because I have written an actual play all by myself. I know it's amazing. I mean, one day I was walking around the house and then I overhear Cassie on the phone. She is rambling on and on about these friends of hers. I just listened with my ears perked up and I decided to write things down. And the more I wrote, the more excited I got. So after I wrote the play, I immediately called Zoe and asked her if she wanted to be in the play. You will hear from Zoe in a minute, my play that is being marketed as brand new, powerful, and never before aired in front of the public. I will win a Tony, I can feel it. Now Zoe will explain more about the play that I wrote.
Good evening, everyone. I know you're all wondering about my outfit. Well, it turns out my friend Isabel has written a play and asked me to be in it. Isabel got the idea from listening to Cassie talk to her friends about their experiences. So Isabel wrote the idea down with her paws and made it into a play. So here I am in it. It's interesting. Here is the plot. During the summer of 1958, greaser Danny Zuko and straight-laced Australian girl Sandy Olsen fall in love at the beach. As Sandy prepares to return home, she worries that she will never see Danny again, but he comforts her by saying that the summer is only the beginning for them. On the first day of his senior year at Rydell High School, Danny reconnects with the members of his greaser gang, the T-Birds, Sunny, Putzi, Doody, and his best friend, Kenicky. Sandy arrives at Rydell and is introduced to girls' gang, the Pink Ladies, Marty, Jan, and leader Betty Rizzo, by mutual friend Frenchie. At lunch, Danny and Sandy each separately describe their summer, unaware of the other's presence, until Sandy mentions Danny's name, which the Pink Ladies recognize. At a pep rally, Sandy, now a cheerleader, flirts with Tom, a football player. Kenickie arrives in Greased Lightning, a heavily used car he plans on restoring in order to drag race it at Thunder Road. Rizzo and the Pink Ladies surprise Sandy by reuniting her with a shocked Danny. Sandy is thrilled, but Danny makes fun of her to maintain his tough image. Frenchie invites her to a sleepover with the other Pink Ladies that night to make her feel better. At the sleepover, Rizzo makes fun of Sandy's good girl image, and Frenchie announces she is dropping out of Rydell to go to beauty school. The T-Birds crash the party, and Rizzo leaves with Kenickie to have sex in Greased Lightning at a nearby makeout spot. While the couple is there, rival greasers Leo and Cha-Cha interrupt them. Danny motivates the T-Birds to work on the car by saying it will win them both girls and races. Later, he sees Sandy on a date with Tom and tries to apologize for his attitude at the pep rally, but she is unconvinced. Danny tries several sports in order to impress Sandy, eventually succeeding at track and field. Sandy, bored with Tom, agrees to be Danny's date to an upcoming dance at which the television show National Bandstand will do a live broadcast from the Rydell gym. Rizzo and Kenickie break up after a fight. After a disastrous beauty class, Frenchie reluctantly decides to return to Rydell to complete her high school education. At the dance, Rizzo and Kenickie bring Leo and Cha-Cha as their respective dates out of spite. In a ribald dance contest that ends with the T-Birds mooning the cameras, Danny begins the contest with Sandy before Sunny pushes Sandy off the floor and Cha-Cha cuts in. Danny and Cha-Cha win as Sandy storms off. To make it up to her, Danny takes Sandy to a drive-in movie and asks her to wear his ring. She accepts, but when he tries to make out with her, she flees the drive-in, leaving Danny hurt. Meanwhile, Rizzo fears that she may be pregnant and tells Marty. When word reaches Kenickie, he offers to help, but she denies that he is the father. At Thunder Road, Kenickie's head collides with his own car door, leaving him concussed. Danny takes his place behind the wheel and beats Leo in the race. Sandy decides to change her image and asks Frenchie for help. At Rydell's graduation carnival, Rizzo discovers that she is not pregnant, and she and Kenickie get back together. Danny shocks the T-Birds by becoming a letterman, and Sandy shocks everyone with a new leather, greaser-style outfit. She and Danny reconcile, and the whole gang vows to always be together. Danny and Sandy drive off into the sky, while their friends wave goodbye. Isabel has such a future in writing and all of this, from overhearing Cassie talking on the phone to one of her friends. So Isabel thought, why not write about these friends that Cassie has? They seem so interesting, especially since they can fly away in cars. In case you have not figured out yet, I am Sandy.
Hello everyone, it's me, Isabel. I want to talk to you about the new gym that has opened up titled Muscle Factory. It's a nice place where dogs like me can get together and work out and help each other get in good shape. I was hesitant to join due to my size, but since I have been trained by a 250-pound giant mastiff who helps me get on and off the machines by lifting me in its teeth, I have felt right at home. They have really small treadmills for very small dogs, and really big treadmills for big dogs, saunas for chihuahuas the size of a closet, and football field-size saunas for my giant mastiff friends. They even have a juice bar. When I see the juice bar, I go over to it and make a little dog noise to the bartender, and I get a teeny tiny energy drink to hold me till my next workout. Everyone is welcome here. You won't ever get the feeling that you are not welcome or that you're not accepted into our gym with open arms. Come on in and let's build muscles. Hello humans, this is me, Isabel, talking to you today at our new pet hospital, All Pets Welcome. Recently, me and a few other dogs have gotten together and decided to purchase an animal hospital, a place where all animals can get medical treatment and not have to suffer in silence. So, to show you the open nature and acceptance of what we accept in the hospital, I am going to give you a list of the animals that are treated here. Dog, obviously, rabbit, guinea pig, hamster, gerbil rat, super smart, very social, mouse, ferret, chinchilla, hedgehog, sugar glider, parakeet/budgie, cockatiel, conure, pigeon/dove, bearded dragon, leopard gecko, ball python, no snake bashing here, freshwater fish, for example, betta, tetras, African dwarf frog, aquatic, fun to watch. As you can see, every animal that has deserved the right to walk our planet amongst humans and coexist in a home with a person. So come on in, bring your furry friends, tell them Isabel sent you.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Cat News, the most complete news broadcast of everything involving pets. In a story of vigilantism in the local parade, a debate has been raised about the First Amendment and whether or not people should be able to march in the parade. In times of defending the rights our Constitution has, someone has to ask what constitutes going too far and what simply violates decency. It is the opinion of this reporter that at some point we have reached a low point of society that frankly we need to get up from. I am talking, of course, about the Snoopy balloon that was allowed into a parade recently. Then a bunch of brave vigilantes dressed as Garfield the cat sabotaged the balloon by scratching it into oblivion. I have never been more proud to be an American. I just would like to say that every once in a while when you see the filth of what someone is capable of, it's nice to see something happen good once in a while, like a mangled Snoopy balloon on the ground being urinated on by a bunch of cats. It brings a tear to the eye. That's all for Cat News Fair. Unbiased and still unafraid. Hello everyone, this is Cat News Fair, unbiased and still unafraid. Over the past few months there has been an increase in businesses created by our beloved cat friends. Also, even though the mere thought frankly makes me want to go cough up a hairball, there have also been businesses that have been made and created by dogs recently. Since it's obvious our two animal groups have had a history of frankly being repulsed by one another, there has been few attempts to try to mediate some form of middle ground. Recently, one of the reporters went to meet a dog at what was a neutral setting, a park, and the meeting did not go well. See, the cat came into the room to meet the dog, and the dog was sitting across the room from the cat. The dog got in the cat's face, and meowing and hissing ensued, and before long there was a chase across the town. Since this meeting, which I would say did not go well, there was another attempt made by the dogs to meet us in what they say is a neutral setting. I would like to say this reporter is going to go and state that no matter what anyone says, a racetrack is and has never been a neutral setting. Until these dogs understand diplomacy, Snoopy balloons will be urinated on in parades. People dressed as Pluto, the dog will get their teeth kicked in by people dressed as Felix. If you see a cat eating at a restaurant, leave it alone, because pretty soon all of us are going to carrying mace.
Good evening. I am Melissa Grant. In the world of summits and meetings, the Reagan-Gorbachev meetings, the Trump-Putin meetings, perhaps all of them will take a back seat to what will go down in history as the bravest of them all. A dog named Benny and a very, very brave named Rambo have agreed to be locked in an elevator for 24 hours together to deal with the tension between the two furry friends of the household. The meeting was agreed upon to settle the fact that, well, frankly, the two can't stand each other. I mean, they really can't stand one another. This is pure blind hatred brought on by years of chasing around the house, hiding in closets, in addition to the canine-feline tension being covered in cartoons for decades. Yes, I am getting news now. It appears both the dog and the cat are now locked in the elevator and are staring at one another. Let's go to the talk between them.
Hey there, I figured being we're trapped in the elevator, I should start and introduce myself. I am Benny. As you can see from the tag, I was sent here to try to mend fences between the canines and the felines. I have behind me some questions I have always wanted to ask a cat, and I figure being I am in a rare chance to pick your brain, I figured I would jump at the chance. Your name is Rambo, right?
Can I interest you in some chocolates, grapes, raisins, onions, macadamia nuts, perhaps? Surely a dog like you has had an alcoholic beverage before.
No, I can't say, as I have ever had no alcoholic beverage. Us dogs, we eat a lot of dog biscuits. Anyway, back to this summit I have some other questions that sometimes keep me up at night, and I thought maybe you might want to, chime in on it. Okay, say you have two Siamese twins connected by the mouth, and one of them throws up. How does a situation like that get dealt with? See, I think about these things all the time. I mean, they make me crazy, don't they make you crazy? I bet you have stayed up all night wondering what would happen if two Siamese twins connected by the mouth and have one of them throw up. Am I right that gives you insomnia too, right?
Please take one, please.
Now, aren't you just the sweetest little rascal? I wish I had a dime every time a cat I spoke to offered me chocolates. You guys are just so sweet. Here is another thought that woke me up one night. I wrote it down so I could remember it today. See, we both are small enough that out of sheer curiosity and really good aim, we could probably drink our own urine. Isn't that amazing? Not many animals are built like us to where we would actually be able to drink our urine. Ever drank your urine? Ever aimed while having your mouth open? See, I actually wondered what the nutritional value of urine was when I found out. I was so excited, I told my owner, granted he was drinking Mountain Dew at the time, and was in no mood to hear what I found out. Ever wonder about things like that? I have a whole notepad of these things I have written down, and I can't wait to bring all of them up over the next day and here in this elevator.
Hello, Rambo. How you doing?
I am in hell. This dog wants to talk about Siamese twins connected by the mouth, and I have to listen to this. I don't understand why I have to put up with this. Why do I have to put myself through this pain?
Dog and Cat Summit first round. 1. Cat Rambo seems determined to make me eat chocolate and seems to offer it to me the more I talk to the cat. 2. Has raised an interesting question in whether dogs like cats can land on their feet. He has offered many times to go with me to the nearest bridge, have me stand on the edge of the bridge and have him push me, and find out if in fact dogs land on our feet. He has said nothing would give him more pleasure. 3. Likes to make the comment, I will answer that after I spit this hairball up, has spit up over 50 hairballs. Although I myself will not say this, some of my friends might say he is doing this on purpose. Cat appears to be sleeping, and I will go over there and wake him up with the questions that have always bothered me. Hey Rambo, how are you doing? Are you awake? I see you breathing. I have got some more questions for being now. We're both awake and all, and I have tons of things that always keep me awake at night, so I decided to write them all down and tell you about all the ones I have written down so we can talk about it together. Okay, see, I was talking to this couple, and they had an idea for something they could sell. It was jock straps for men made out of barbed wire, you see. So they started trying to sell them, and the weird thing is they could not sell any of the barbed wire jock straps they made. Now, I have my own theories as to why something like that would not sell, but I wanted to ask you, in your opinion, why do you think a man would never buy or want to wear a jock strap made out of barbed wire?
Well, perhaps the simple, straightforward answer would be that a jock strap made out of barbed wire would be extremely painful for a man to wear, and anyone who would think that something like that would even be marketable, or rather a good idea to buy, would be an idiot.
Well, see you, and I think alike. That's what I was thinking. My first thought was, well, I guess those things would be painful to wear, and that must be why they did not sell all that much. However, and this is important, we need to make sure we don't jump to conclusions. Maybe there are other reasons why a jockstrap made out of pure barbed wire would not be appealing for a man to wear. So I went out and I decided to try wearing one myself. Now I will admit the pain does jump out at me as a reason that maybe, just maybe, the jock straps have not sold a lot, and why the couple did not get a deal on Shark Tank. So I will wear the jock strap a few days to come up with the most intellectual answer as to why they are not selling.
Your funeral.
Okay, next thing that keeps me up at night, see, there is this man I know, see, and he is trying to romance this lady by always singing her songs, hugging her, kissing on her, and doing a lot of real affection and romance, basically going all out in the romance department. Now the woman has been seeing this guy for about 6 months, and frankly, she is repulsed by him, wants nothing to do with him, has even gone so far as to get a restraining order against him, and told him to never speak with her again. If he gets near her, she will throw up.
Let me guess you have a theory as to why she is so repulsed by this man.
Okay, you tell me if my theory makes any sense. Okay, now the way I see it, this man had 2 strikes against him from the beginning. Okay, 1, he was a mortician. 2, he never took a bath, washed his hair, brushed his teeth, and was extremely affectionate to everyone around him, including her family. Now, granted, other things could be in factors, but I am going to basically state it was hygiene problems combined with a mortician job that lead to the restraining order. Yes, that's what I think.
I need to go back to sleep.